Niddah Daf Samach Gimel. As we learned yesterday, if a person finds a kesem on their clothing, in order to remove it, you have to use the 7 detergents. The first detergent on the list is roik tafel, spit without a flavor. There are a few halachas in regard to roik tafel. First of all, the person has to be sleeping through chatzos, or at least misnamnim, half asleep, half up. In other words, if they ask him a question, he won't be able to answer, but he'll be able to answer yes or no. They'll ask him, where are your car keys? He won't know. But if they say, is it on the kitchen table? He'll say yes or no. According to Rav Papa, in order for the spit to be strong, it has to be that the person didn't eat the night before. According to Rava, the person could eat the night before, but he can't eat that morning. If a person woke up early to learn Torah, talking actually decreases the power of the spit. How much talking? Enough talking to converse for 3 hours. If you condense that into learning, that's how much learning one does in order to weaken the spit. The next halacha we learned, the next detergent is megrisen split bean water. The Mishnah mentions that you have to chew it before you use it. What's the purpose of chewing it? To introduce heat into it. Not like Rish Lakish, who holds that you have to introduce spit into every one of the other 6 samamanim. The Mishnah does not go according to Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that split bean over here means split bean soup. It has to be hot in order for it to have an effect. And Rabbi Yehuda uses a lashon. He says you have to use the split bean soup. Oiver sheyitein letoichay melach. Oiver is a lashon of before. Before you put salt into the soup, that's when you use it. A similar lashon that we have is you make a bracha oiver lasiyasan. Before you do the mitzvah, you make your bracha on tefillin before you put the tefillin on your hand. The next thing on the list we had was meiraglayim. As we said, we mentioned, they have to be fermented, and it takes 3 days to ferment. Rabbi Yechon says all these shiurim that Chachamim gave us actually have shiurim to the shiurim. So, for instance, if we're discussing meiraglayim, you need to know, is the meiraglayim of an elderly person or a younger person? Elderly person is more potent. Is it a man or a woman? Is it a meiraglayim that was covered or uncovered? Because covered is stronger. Are we talking about in the summer and the winter? Summer is much stronger. The Mishnah mentions that you have to rub each one of the detergents 3 times. Rabbi Yirmi asked the question, he asked it 2 other places in Shas. Does it mean back and forth is 1, or back and forth is 2? So you only have to do 3 times, 1 forward, 1 backwards, and 1 forwards, or do you need to do it 6 times? And the Gemara remains with a teiku. If you took from the list, you did number 4, 5, 6, and 7 before 1, 2, 3. Obviously it doesn't work. The question is, since you ended off with 1, 2, 3, can you continue with 4, 5, 6, 7? And the answer is, you can. The Mishnah says, up until now, we were discussing the concept of veses kavua, an established pattern of a period. Now the Mishnah says, there's an established pattern, beguf. Physical things that happen with the body. For instance, if a woman stretches a certain way a certain amount of times, or sneezes, or her stomach hurts by her navel, or opposite of the womb, or she sees first tahar dam, one of the colors that are tahar, and then immediately afterwards tamei dam. All these things, or if she has chills, all these things can create an established pattern if they happen 3 times, and therefore, if you have that pattern, it's usher for her to be with her husband, and she must do a bdika. The Mishnah says, and there are other things similar in the Gemara Darshans. That means if a woman has a headache, or if she feels that her limbs are heavy on her, if she shakes, or gaisa, which would mean yawning. Shmuel says that in order to establish a veses that has to do with days, in other words, if a woman sees every 20 days or every 20th of the month, she just has to have that twice. But veses haguf, sneezing, yawning, stretching, those only 1 time is enough to establish a veses kavua. And if she were to eat spicy foods, for instance, the first month she'll eat onion, and then garlic, and then hot peppers, that establishes a veses kavua. According to some, you need all 3 in 3 months. According to others, you need 1 of them 3 times. And this is how Rav Yosef, in fact, explained the Mishnah at the end of Amud Beis, that it goes our Mishnah goes according to Rav Shimon Gamliel and not according to Chachamim. In other words, Rav Shimon Gamliel all over Shas holds that a chazaka is 3 times. And therefore, all veses have to be 3 times, regardless if it's days, guf, whatever it is 3 times. So if in a case that a woman has seen a veses 3 times on the 15th of the month, or 15 days after the last veses, and she changed it one time to the 20th, both of them are also the 15th and the 20th. If she changed to the 20th 3 times, that's how you undo a veses. In order to create a veses, you have to do it 3 times. In order to undo it, you have to also undo it 3 times. So the 20th is the established veses from now on, and the 15th is no longer the veses. But Chachamim say, no, for the days, all you need is 2 times, and for veses haguf, yawning, stretching, etc., all you need is 1 time. If a woman sneezes, for instance, 10 times, and then she sees a veses, if she sees the veses on the first time of her sneezing, then everything she touches from that point on is tameh. Taharis are tameh. But let's say she sees dam on the 10th sneeze, then everything before that is tar. Rabbi Yosef comes along and says, when we're dealing with veses of days, she sees 20 days from the last time she's seen, then you could also narrow it down to hours. So let's say every 20 days she sees at 6 o'clock. According to Rabbi Yosef, only at 6 o'clock she's also to her husband. But before and after she's mutter. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, the entire oina is asur. What's an oina? Night or day. A day is divided, 24 hours are divided in 2. Night and day. So if a woman typically sees during the night, then the entire night is asur and the entire day is mutter. In our Mishnah it says that if a woman sees by Neitzachama, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the entire day is mutter. However, in the Brisa it says the entire night is mutter. The answer is because when it says in our Mishnah that the entire day is mutter, it doesn't mean that she saw a Neitzachama. It means she saw prior to Neitzachama, all the way at the tail end of the night. Therefore, the entire night is asr, the entire day is mutter. However, if she sees a few minutes later, when it's already daybreak, then the entire day becomes asr, and the entire night is mutter. And in fact, the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda. That's how we paskin, that if a woman sees a veses, kavua or not kavua, even if she doesn't have an established pattern, last time she saw a dam was during the day, so there's three oinais, we'll get into that at a different time. Those oinais are asr to her husband. If she saw during the day, she's asr during the day. If she saw during the night is asr. And you don't add an additional oina to that oina. It's just 1 day period, and that's it. Have a wonderful day.